All right, welcome everybody. In this video, we're going to go through our first introduction into working with R. And if you haven't worked in Google Colaboratory, that's the document, the website that we're looking at right now. We'll get a quick introduction into working with Google Colaboratory, which is the primary way that we're going to be coding and working in R this semester. So we're going to be working with data. We're going to be working with how we can clean and manipulate data and how we can create some nice visualizations. We're going to be coding in R this semester, and our main platform for coding in R is going to be Google Colaboratory. So I want to kind of just make sure we're clear with what these terms are and Google Colaboratory are, and everybody has access to work with these tools. And so the nice thing is that R and Google Colaboratory are completely free and open source, and Google Colaboratory is cloud-based software. So nobody needs to purchase anything to get rolling this semester. Everybody has all of the technology needs that they will need as long as you have some electronic device that is able to get onto the internet, then you're ready to get going. So the document that we're looking at right now, this is what is called a Jupyter notebook that I am accessing using Google Colaboratory. And there is a link to this notebook in the description of this video. And for those in my class, there's a link to this in our Canvas course as well. And so you would open this document and it would take you to a web browser. I'm using Chrome, but you can open this link up in any web browser. And when you open up this link, it opens it by default in Google Colaboratory, and there is no software that you would need to install. Okay, so right now, I just want to kind of introduce you to, well, what is R? So R is a programming language like Python and C++ and other languages that you may have previously worked in. You can find some information about R over here. You've got a link to it. But the important thing that you might want to know is that R is totally free and open source. It's been around for 25 years or so, and there's a large community of people that have been using R, and it's really a programming language that is developed around statistical computing, data wrangling, and visualization. That's mainly what it is used for, and so that's why it's an excellent tool to use in a course such as data wrangling and visualization. So Python can also be used for a lot of the tools that we're going to be learning this semester, as well as a lot of other things. So Python is maybe a more general programming language that can do statistical computing as well as a whole bunch of other things. R is more of like a programming language that is really fine-tuned and maybe a little bit more intuitive to do some statistical computing. It's free and open source. It runs on Mac, Windows, Linux, all types of operating systems. It runs on cloud-based software such as Google Colab, another cloud-based software called Posit Cloud. For us, we're going to initially begin working with R using Google Colab, which is the document that we're working with right now. And you may have worked with Google Colaboratory before. You may have done some coding with Google Colaboratory using Python. And so Google Colaboratory is an open source. It's a Google product that allows you to interact, edit, and work with what are called Jupyter notebooks. And so Jupyter notebooks, these are dynamic environments that are going to allow us to kind of synthesize text cells, which is what we're looking at now, executable code cells, and these could be code cells in R, in Python. We could also embed some videos and other types of media into Colab documents. And here are some useful links in this code cell if you want to research a little bit more about Colab. And there are some also useful links in our Canvas webpage if you want to get started in there. And so if you've worked with Colab before and you've worked in Python, Colab is probably more naturally set up to work in Python. And if you're curious, if you click on this little connect button up here for how to change between R and Python, if you click on the connect button up here and go to change runtime, you can see that this notebook is set up to run on R, and that's how we're going to be working in R all semester long. But if you did want to run a notebook in Python, you could change that runtime. And it is possible to run some code cells in R and some code cells in Python in the same notebook. But again, we're going to be coding just using R this semester. So all of our notebooks are going to be set up with a runtime of using R. But that's how you could check the runtime in a notebook.